Hello, welcome back, children. Yeah, in the previous class, we had seen how the changes come about in the relationship between the grandmother and Khushwant Singh. In the beginning, they were like good friends, but then when they then comes in the second phase, where they are brought to the city, and where things change, and how he is taken to the English medium school where he learns Western science, he learns music, which grandmother considers is not right, because in those schools they'll teach them music, which is supposed to be the monopoly of harlots and beggars. And they never taught any lessons on scriptures, holy books. Okay, so all these things were very depressing for grandmother. And when he went into the university, again there was a change. That is, till that day they used to stay in the same room. At least during the night time they could meet each other, but now he was given a separate room, and due to which the link of friendship, that is, the link of friendship between them was the room that they shared. But then now there was no link between them, and that had come to a stop. And so his grandmother took up the isolation that she was given with acceptance. She accepted the isolation, and she rarely talked with anyone. She rarely came out of her room. She used to spin the wheel the whole day, and then the only relaxation that she had was feeding the birds. Okay, sparrows. So she took up in the village. She used to feed the dogs. Instead of dogs, here she used to feed the sparrows, and they used to come all around and sit on her shoulder, on her leg, on even some used to sit on her head. And that was the happy half an hour that she used to spend in the whole day. Now we'll see the third phase where things changed drastically for her. This time he has decided to go abroad for higher studies. So going abroad means going outside India. So that's a big, and and returning time, he has to go and settle down abroad. So he also cannot predict when he would be back. Okay, and here it's given that he might be back after 5 years. So that was a long span of time. Let's start. When I decided to go abroad for studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. So he was damn sure that his grandmother would be very upset when she came to know that, when she would come to know that he was going abroad. Okay. Now, I would be away for 5 years. And at her age, one could never tell. One could never tell means we cannot predict whether after 5 years he would meet her or not. That is, she would be alive or not. So at her age, she was very, very old. So it was unpredictable when death would come to her. That is what he's trying to say. But my grandmother could. So, but then she was so confident that she would meet him even after 5 years. She would not die till then. Okay. She was not even sentimental. Okay, she was not sentimental. Sentimental in the sense she did not become any emotional. Okay, she was very normal. She did not show any kind of emotions. She came to leave me at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotion. Okay, so she accompanied Khushwant Singh till the railway station, but did not show any kind of any kind of sentiment, any kind of emotions. She did not cry. She did not smile. She was just normal. That's it. His lips moved in prayer. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Silently she kissed my forehead. And when I left, I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. So the only thing, even at the railway station, what she was doing was her lips were moving in an inaudible prayer. Her hands busy telling the beads of rosary. We talked about it that day. And then silently she kissed Khushwant Singh's forehead. And even when he was leaving them, or he had left the place, he could feel that moisture of her lips on his forehead, and that he felt was the last contact, physical contact between them, because he was very much sure that she would die. But then that was not like that in the mind of his grandmother. His grandmother was very sure that she would meet him after 5 years, and that is why she did not show any kind of emotions. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and met her, and was met by her at the station. So it was not the last contact between them. It was not like that. And when he came back after 5 years, he met her again at the same spot where he had left her, that is at the railway station. She did not look a day older. That is, she seemed the same old grandmother whom he had left 5 years back. She did not seem a day old or a day young. She was the same. No changes had come about in her. She still had no time for words, and while she clasped me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. So, she did not, no time for words means she did not speak with him, but she took him in her arms, and he could hear the inaudible recitation of the prayers continuously by her. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer with her frivolous rebukes. Okay, so on the first day when he arrived, on that day even, okay, she took a little more time, and she spent the most happiest moments of her life with these sparrows, and in between she used to rebuke means scold, okay, frivolous means in a very jovial manner, okay, like with love and affection. When you scold someone with a smile on your face, as if you know that you are scolding, but it's not a severe one. Okay, with love and affection when you scold someone. That's how she was also scolding these sparrows. So we see how changes come about. Okay, now in the beginning she was really very sad. Okay, when they parted from each other, when they came to city, but gradually she accepted the partition. She accepted that now she has to be alone. She has to give space to her grandchild, and maybe that is why even when he went abroad, she did not interfere. She did not show any kind of emotion, because she knew somewhere in her heart that even when he returned back, she would be there to welcome him. Maybe that was the ultimate thing that she felt. In the evening, a change came over her. So in the evening of that day, the day when he returned, in the evening something different happened with her. Okay, he could see the change in her. She did not pray, and that was something very, very different. Okay, from the day Khushwant Singh had seen her, he had never seen her without prayers or without telling the beads. Okay, even when she used to dress him up in the village, or took him to school continuously, and even when he had grown up, he went abroad for higher studies, even then he could hear an inaudible prayer in her mouth. So, but this day she did not pray, and we don't know why she did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. So what did she do? She collected all the women in the neighborhood. She got an old drum and started. Drum matlab dholak, that we call it. Okay, ladies, they generally do it. So she got a drum and started singing with the women of the neighborhood. For several hours, she thumped the sagging skin of the dilapidated drum. So the drum, I hope you know, it's made of animal skin. So that skin had become loose and was about to break. Okay, so the whole evening she was beating the drum. Okay, and for several hours she continued singing and sang the homecoming of the warriors. So she started singing the homecoming of the great soldier. That is, here the soldier for her is her grandson. Yes. So she started singing all those songs. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid the overstraining. So these people had to continuously tell her, don't overstrain yourself, you're old, please stop. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. So that was the first and last time that they had seen her without her prayers. Okay children, we'll stop here. In the next class we'll see why she did not pray and what were the reason. After that, what happened. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.